angel. You look at her body. Yes, she is so beautiful.
Hello. Welcome to my closet. I'm hoping it's not going to be echoey in here, but I won't know until I start editing. So I'm like, oh my God, please don't be echoey. Also, I have extensions in today. This is not my hair growth or my hair. They're by insert name here, their mom, but you know, that's what's happening today. Just wanted to break down a few things before we get into today's video. Today's video is a different video. I've never filmed a video like this, and I don't know why, because I feel like I'm super open, honest. We have a lot of honest conversations on this channel, and yet we never had a girl talk. So I was like, what in the world? And I came by this idea because I saw Laura DIY recently posted a girl talk video. I clicked through it and I fell in love with it. And I'm like, what a great thing to do as a woman with a platform to normalize talking about our body parts, sex, periods, cramps, birth control, and all that stuff that goes on with the cooch. That's what we're doing today. We're gonna be super open and honest in today's video. And like I said, another reason I'm doing this is just like, let's normalize talking about it. Girls have a lot going on. We don't like to talk about it. It's like shameful to talk about. Why is it shameful? We should be loud and proud about it. And I let you guys take the floor and ask me the questions you want me to answer. I have a bunch of them screenshotted, like a ton. I kind of screenshotted a ton. So we're gonna be here a minute. So be sure and hit the subscribe button before you leave, and then we'll go ahead and jump into today's video. Oh my goodness, where do we begin? The first one is, have you ever had an embarrassing period moment? Yes, I did. Whenever I was in high school, it was my senior year, and it was just kind of a weird, embarrassing day altogether. I wasn't a cheerleader, I was just a student, but a lot of my friends cheered. And anyways, I didn't know, like, the cheerleaders had something going on where they had to dress up that day. And on coincidence, I remember I got new white pants, and they were white pants. So I wanted to go to school. I was like, I'm gonna pick my outfit out the night before to wear with these white pants because they're my fresh new pants. And I'm gonna wear them, and I'm gonna dress up a little tomorrow and like wear a little wedge heel. So I showed up at school, and then everybody was getting out of their car in the parking lot, and I was like, why is everybody else dressed up? Like, why are all the cheerleaders dressed up? And then they're like, oh, something's going on. And I was like, oh no, I'm dressed up today too, and I never dress up, so they're gonna think I'm trying to like be a part of them. But luckily a lot of my friends were cheerleaders, and I just was like, wow, I'm an idiot. Why am I here? Anyways, white pants. So then I went into my art class, and I quickly realized that the back of my pants was red from blood. So I had a jacket in my book bag. I tied it around my waist, and I went to my art teacher. She was like a woman probably in her 30s, super cool. And I was like, I started my period and it's all over my white pants. And she was like, oh my God. She knew that like I lived behind the school, like 5 minutes away. And I was like, can I please go change, and I will be back here before this period's over and no one will know. And the teacher, and I'm talking about, this is a huge public high school. She was literally felt so bad for me. She was like, yeah, just go change, but please make sure you're back before my period's over so no one knows you left. So that was like one of the coolest moments ever. No other teacher had ever let me do that, and that never happened again for me. But in that one instance, she really felt bad for me, girl to girl, and she was just like, go take care of it. Girl, you better believe I came back to school in sweatpants and a t-shirt. I was like, I didn't dress up today. So all that happened in first period. It was a weird day. Do you have sex while you're on your period? My periods are super, super, super light. So towards like the end, or if it's like day one where I barely have anything, I have had sex before. I don't prefer it just because it's just messy, and there are so many other times when we can have sex when I'm not on my period. So it's like, why not do it then? I have before when it's messy, and it's just like messy and it's like excessive. You totally can. You can have sex on your period, but I think it's good to have a conversation about it, and just, it's all about being open and talking about it. I think it's all about communication and what you and your partner agree on. I did have heavier periods in the past, and I would tend to avoid having sex then, and that was just my personal preference because of the mess. Can you give some advice about loving and accepting yourself? I suffer to accept me. I actually do suffer to accept me, and it's weird. Like, the younger I was, the more I accepted me, but the older I am, I guess the more I realize things about myself and things start changing a little bit. I have a hard time with that too. And I have things like, I have a lot of things that I don't like about myself that I've kind of learned just to get over. But like when it comes to like me in everyday life, I'm fine with it. But me like presenting myself on the internet sometimes or like filming something, like I don't like the way I look and I'll have like a really hard time with that. I think a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people have insecurities. And if you aren't careful with them, what I've noticed with age is that they will eat away at you. And little insecurities, if you keep focusing on them, they can become big insecurities. I do think a couple ways to accept yourself is to be really honest with yourself and have honest conversations with yourself. I feel like whenever you really embrace yourself and embrace who you are, which is what makes you unique in the first place, and that sounded so cliche to me when I was younger, but now that I'm in my 30s, it's not cliche at all, it's true. You know, I moved out to LA as not a very big YouTuber, and I was very quirky, and I wasn't hot, and I wasn't sexy, and I wasn't that confident in myself, and I had a super country accent, and when I would go to events, of course, I would feel the cold shoulder. I would feel that I don't want to talk to you. Like I felt it all the time just because I was new in the area, and I was different, and I wasn't very cool. I was a dork. I still am a dork. But at the end of the day, I found my crowd that accepts me as who I am, and that's who I tend to stay around. I don't know why we give so much power to other people to determine our self-worth. You're not always gonna be everybody's everything. Okay, I kind of feel like I got on a rabbit trail, but I think it is really important to be honest with yourself, have conversations with yourself. Do not fall to self-deprecating humor. I have a bad habit of doing that. And anytime you're really feeding into a negative thought about yourself, a trick I like to do is try to make sure and do everything possible to catch myself doing it and turn it around. And I'm not a professional, I'm just giving my advice on what I know and like how I lived my life, and this is just my experiences and what I think. How often do you shave down there? I would say I probably shave it once to twice a week, but I know people who literally shave it like every single day. I just don't have that willpower. I also take baths, and I don't shave in my bath because I don't want to float around the hair. If you do that, I'm not judging you, I'm just telling you why I don't. You know, shave it as much as you want. If you don't want to shave yours at all, don't shave it. You do not have to shave your cooch unless that's what you want. You know, it's all about what you want. It's your cooch. Some people say sex helps with period cramps. Has that helped you at all? I have never had sex while having period cramps because let me tell you, I had very mild period cramps all through my 20s, teenage years, yada, yada, yada. And then right at my late 20s to early 30s, I started getting the most severe cramps ever, like to the point where I couldn't walk anymore. Ty had to carry me. Every time they would hit me, I would have to sit in a bathtub that was scalding hot to ease the cramps. And once I could move and get myself out of the tub, I would have to put myself to sleep because the pain from them would exhaust me. It was crazy. I had to immediately go to the gyno and get some birth control to help me with that because it was out of control. And the bad thing is they wouldn't build up. They would just hit me like a brick. So I would literally be working or doing something and it'd be like, boom. And I would just feel like I was dying. I couldn't even stand with my period cramps. So I've never tried sex for period cramps. So sex triggers endorphins, which is supposed to release and help with the pain. I think that's the theory behind that. So yeah, but I haven't tried it. Do you get a sweaty crotch when you wear leggings? Yes, and a way I've tried to combat this some is one, my underwear, I try to wear like the thinner underwear that are more breathable, not like a really thick panty because it's just too much down there and it does get sweaty and it's like, I don't really care if it's sweaty, but I don't like to feel the sweat, if that makes sense. So a lighter panty has helped. They also make certain leggings that are a little more breathable, that like absorb sweat and breathable, which is better because the coochie area is moist as it is, and like just that spandex so tight with underwear on is just so much keeping all that moisture in, and it can be uncomfortable. So I recommend trying one of those two things. How do you control your emotions and mood swings when your period comes? So I normally get moody before my period, and when my period comes, I'm like, girl, I'm good. I'm okay now. I sometimes, guys, I get so moody before my period. And the thing is, I I don't do the best keeping up with my period. My birth control helps me keep up with it, but I don't do the best keeping up with it. So sometimes I'll be really rude and really moody to everyone in this house. And the next day I'll have my period and I'll literally be on the toilet like, I was so mean. Because then I realized my period helped me realize like I was a little much. Apologies are offered. The best cramp relief remedy. Okay, so I've tried everything because whenever I got those really bad period cramps, like, I've never felt pain like this in my life, guys. I don't know what it's like to have a baby, but like, a pain so bad that it like makes you sleep because your body's so exhausted from the pain. And they would normally come in waves of like 30 minutes straight of just like, it felt like someone was lighting my insides on fire. I literally went to the gyno because I was like, I don't think this is normal. Like, I think this pain is crazy. I describe everything. And ever since I've been taking birth control, when I tell you, ever since I've been prescribed this birth control, which by the way, see your physician on birth control. Don't be like, Larlees takes it, so I'm gonna go take some. Definitely see your physician on it, but I don't have any period cramps. And by any, I mean not even like a tiny baby one, like nothing, nada. And my periods are super light and easy, like back to when I was like 16. But some of the things, a hot bath, obviously you can't always get in a bath, but if it is really bad and you're at home, I do recommend sitting in a hot bath. It will help you immensely. If you can't do that, there's heating pads. I had to go to sleep with a heating pad after I get out of the bath, covering my stomach, and just lay there until my body would just like pass out. I wouldn't even be trying to go to sleep, but I would just pass out. And I would be so grateful when I did. So when I woke up, the pain would be subsided. And I would always take a Midol. I would take one. I know I could have taken two, but I'm not big on Tylenol and Advil. Like, I try to avoid those as much as possible. But I would always take a Midol, heating pad, hot bath, loosen your pants if you're able to unbutton your jeans. Like, give it some air down there. Yes, ma'am. Because some people will be suffering and don't even unbutton the top button of their pants. I'm like, hello. Have you ever had a pregnancy scare? Here's the crazy thing. I have never had a pregnancy scare, and I am 32 and I have been having sex for a lot of years. So to me, I'm like, should I be more scared that I haven't had a pregnancy scare? I might not be able to have children. I don't know. I've never tried to have children, but I've also never had a pregnancy scare, which scares me kinda. Because I'm like, it's always playing in the back of my head. I'm like, well, I must not be able to have kids then. Like, surely at least one time I would think I'm pregnant. And no, like the next day I get my period, I'm never pregnant. Do you get bladder infections or UTIs? I want to know I'm not alone. Absolutely. But I've kind of gotten my body down to a little bit more of a science where I haven't had one in probably like, I would say like 6 or 7 years. So I can't take as many baths. And when I do, I can't be doing a bunch of bath salts, bubble bath. I can't, it's gotta be just like water and me. And then I bathe in the in and get out, like as soon as I'm done bathing, so I'm not soaking in the materials. I use the Honey Pot Vaginal Wash, and that is the only thing I wash my cooch with. I'll put a picture of it right here. They sell it at Target and like Urban Outfitters. It's a really great brand. It's also a Black owned brand, and it's the best of the best. It's fragrance free, it's completely natural, and women made it. Best part about it. And then my water intake. So whenever I was getting UTIs, I was pounding them Dr. Peppers, y'all, pounding them. And then, you know, I would have sweet tea for dinner, and like, I wasn't drinking any water. And I will say water made like one of the biggest difference. I only allow myself, you guys aren't gonna believe this, but 1 drink a day that's not water. Like, I get 1 drink a day that's not water. Occasionally I'll cheat, and that drink is a Dr. Pepper. So for me, every day I drink lemon water and 1 Dr. Pepper. And that's like my treat to myself, but you have to get the beverages you're drinking under control for both. And I do eat a lot of Greek yogurt, which is good for vaginal health. Like, all of these things should be happening because I'm telling you, the cooch is a lot to take care of, and it's something that's not talked about enough. Cranberry juice doesn't, y'all, I have had the worst bladder infection, UTI, everything. Everybody's like, cranberry juice, cranberry. It did nothing for me. I was dying in pain, okay? You guys have a funny story. So I said cranberry juice. And I remember at this point, I was like in my really young 20s. I think I was like 22, still going out to bars and stuff. And my friends wanted to go out. Alcohol is the devil if you have either. Okay, it's gonna make it worse. It's gonna inflame it. So I went out to the bar and I'm like, oh my God, I have a UTI. And everybody's like, cranberry juice. So I ordered vodka cranberries all night. The next morning, pain. I was in. So don't do that. And yeah, drink water. There are steps that you have to do to take care of the cooch. They are not difficult, but they need to be done. And make sure you're not wearing make sure your underwear is breathable. Make sure it's cotton. You can't clog her up. She has to breathe throughout the day to avoid the cooch stench. Do you know one of the things that will make your coochie the stinkiest if you wear underwear? I'm about this about socks, underwear, clothing. I'm all about body sweat and like how to prevent stinkiness. It's the underwear. A lot of times it's underwear and food. Some foods we eat, but like I eat shit food all the time and it doesn't affect the way my cooch smells. I'm sure some foods make it smell better maybe, but your vag not being able to breathe clogged up, I think can make it smell because mine, I never have any weird issues. I never have like too much discharge or like just too much going on down there whenever I wear just like a simple, really thin, breathable piece of underwear. Underwear plays a big part in it, guys. We wear underwear all day, all night. Have you ever tried the Diva Cup? I want to try one, but I'm scared of spillage. Girl, I am with you. You are not alone. I want to try it so bad. It's supposed to be better for the environment. It's supposed to be easier. I'm not grossed out by it. It's my own body. Like, I don't care. I will shove it up there. Like, all of it's mine. It's just the fact, like, I'm scared it's gonna spill. I've never had one in me. I don't know what that's gonna feel like. I don't know. I'm gonna try it eventually, but I'm scared. I'm with you. I don't know. Someone comment down below about it. Be open. Tell us about Diva Cup. Tell us how much better it is than a tampon. Do you ever go through times when you just don't feel like having sex, a low sex drive? For sure. Especially during times where I'm really, really, really stressed. I can really feel it on me and I'm just like, don't even think about sex. Like, don't even think about that because my most stressful times is like, As Laura DIY was saying in her video, your vagina is a muscle and whenever you're stressed, that muscle can be tensed and it's not fun to have sex when you're stressed. So yeah. I feel like everybody goes through stages of a low sex drive. Not a question, but a statement. One time I sneezed and I sharted while on my period. I love that. So I used to have diarrhea all the time on the first day of my period. You guys, I used to have like the most annoying periods. Full diarrhea. Period poops are real. It's a real thing. You get an upset stomach. Is it weird? I think tampons are not safe. No, you're shoving something with fragrance up inside of your body for hours. I mean, I still use them. You're not wrong in thinking they're not safe. Just because something's on the shelf doesn't mean it's safe. How do you keep your kitty cat shaved, trimmed without ingrowns? So the best way, I'm not a perfectionist at this, but the best way I have dealt with this is shaving with the grain. Anytime I shave against the grain, I have endless ingrown hairs. And those things will last. They leave PIH, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation around that area. If you shave with the grain and you go against it, sure, there's like the slightest poke, but you will not have any ingrown hairs and it is so worth it. Also shave with a really sharp razor and also use some type of oil, some type of something that's safe for that area to shave with. What is the proper cleanup after sex? LOL, asking for a friend. Well, I have these wipes. You don't have to have specific wipes. One, you should be peeing. Please pee. I don't care if it's a first time having sex with someone and you don't want to be embarrassed. It's pee. Go pee. I literally am like this right after sex. See you later. I'm going straight to the toilet because I don't want a UTI. So I think it's really important that you pee and clean out your pee hole right after sex. You can then take toilet tissue and really clean the area up, or they do make specific wipes or baby wipes if you feel like that would be a little more thorough being clean, whatever your preference is. I have the little wipes though. Not really a girl issue, but body acne, please help. Body acne is real. Erin has a lot on her back that she's been dealing with. I will tell you, if you are heavy, deep conditioning your hair and letting it rest on your back for 10 to 15 minutes in the shower can cause back acne. If you're not washing the conditioner really well off your back after conditioning your hair and there's conditioner residue, can totally break out your back. And when I worked at the derm, a lot of times we would recommend using a benzoyl peroxide, and they sell them like on Amazon or in Target. They're pretty cheap, but they are aggressive and drying. So I would say do a test patch. We also recommended this because some people are allergic to benzoyl peroxide, but just a little test patch to make sure you're not. Maybe apply it, wash your arm or something with it for a few days before you do your whole back. And that can really help dry out and clear up any acne. And you might want to moisturize your back with a light moisturizer after using it because you might experience a little dryness. How to deal with thoughts of no one liking me even though I may be wrong. Girl, I do this all the time, especially in the industry I'm in, and like I've been in drama in the past, and so I just assume all the time that people don't want to be around me, they don't like me. Like I can be super insecure with that. And the way I try to handle it is like if I feel like someone doesn't like me, even for no reason, like I'll feel that way, I try to like go comment on their page and be really nice and friendly with them just to let them know like, well, I do like you. And maybe you like me too. I don't know. Like I'm an adult, but let me just tell you, like this will go on your whole life, especially at jobs and stuff. It's like, I don't have issues with people, but you know how you just overthink and you can like build these cases why someone doesn't like you, or you feel like they were short with you, or you feel like they weren't friendly enough with you, so that girl must not like you. I think we read into things too much. I think we as humans read into things as much, and we're so busy thinking, what do they think about me? And then that person's thinking, what did they think about me? And then it's like, no one's thinking about anyone but themselves. So I think I read into it too much. I think everyone at times read into it too much. It's just like overthinking, which is so deadly. That's an issue I have with myself as well. Like I don't want to give advice on stuff and be like, well, this is how you fix that. Because sometimes I don't even know how to fix it myself, but I'm just trying to tell you guys what I do, and maybe it'll help you too. Do you feel insecure when having sex if you haven't showered after a long day? I actually personally do. Like I do. I've always been, I don't judge anyone who has sex, not shower. I don't judge anyone who's sweaty and have sex, because Ty would totally do it. He doesn't care. But I'm like, no, let me shower off real quick. I don't know why, but I do. Yeah, absolutely feel insecure. Washing Le Coche, I only use one product. Again, I'll put it here by the Honey Pot, not sponsored, but they're bomb. I really do recommend like spending a little extra coin. It's not too pricey. It's again, one of those products at Target, but instead of just using your regular soap or any bubble baths, don't use that, or body washes. Use something specifically designed for your cooch. What do you do about yeast infections? My school never taught me. These are things like schools should pull the girls in a class. I know boys can have them too, but I feel like girls are more prone to them, and like really tell them what to do. So I've had a yeast infection so bad, I just had to go to the gyno. It wouldn't go away. This was years and years ago, but I had to go to the gyno. It wouldn't go away. And we got rid of it like that. She prescribed me something. But I have had one before when it was just like super light, and I just went to CVS and bought a Monistat kit, and after using it one time, it went away completely and I was all good. I would honestly talk to someone you trust, whether it be a really close friend, a parent, an older sister, a cousin, like someone that you would really trust with that conversation. But I definitely don't think it's something you should leave alone and just kind of hope it goes away. I think, you know, aiding to it would be a good idea. Which is the next question. Have you ever had a super weird issue, TMI, or you had to see a doctor and you were embarrassed? Yeah, totally. Like with my, I was like mortified with my yeast infection. And you know, the guy, and I was like, girl, we deal with this all day. You were like the least of our issues. But in my head, I'm like, oh. They truly didn't care at all. She was just like, yeah, you have a yeast infection, here you go, bye. So don't make it that big of a deal, and just know UTI and yeast infections are common. They don't mean you're a nasty person. I hate that stereotype. It means you're gross, you don't bathe down there. That's not what that means, and that's not what people are thinking. When it's too old to have not lost your virginity, here's the thing, like I know a few people who are in their 30s and haven't lost their virginity. Who cares? It is your life, and everything you do is on your timeline because it's going to affect you. For me, I did have sex in my teenage years, but like I said, I know plenty of people who haven't had sex and they're in their 30s. So what? So what if you're in your 40s? So what if you never had sex? You're not a weirdo. You're not a loner. A lot of people have sex. That's why it's a huge conversation that's constantly talked about. But I don't think it's anything to ever be ashamed of, but I do think in today's society, there's so much pressure on people to lose their virginity. It makes them feel like they're not cool, or they're not experienced, or they're running behind if they can't catch up. And I think that's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. What does it matter? What does it matter? It's your timeline, it is your life, and whenever you find someone that you are comfortable with or you love and you want to have sex with, that is what you want for you, no pressure from anyone else, then go for it. But you know, before that, if you're not ready, it does not matter your age, and that should be something you should never even think about. You should never be like, oh my God, I'm getting so old, I haven't had sex. Like, live your best life. Wax or shave the goodies. I say shave only because I know people who used to get a wax and they would like have to take an Advil before, and I'm like, oh my God, how bad does it hurt? I also want to start my Kinsey laser on the bikini area to see how that works out. How old were you when you got your period? Was it awful? I was 15 and it was like the lightest period ever. I remember using a panty line for it because it was so light. She grew worse. Okay guys, I want to do a part 2 to this because there are so many questions I could keep answering and I want to answer, but this video is going to get really long. So I'll definitely do part 2 sometime and answer more of your questions. Thank you guys for participating. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was somewhat helpful, and if not helpful, then I hope you enjoyed it. And if you guys want to chime in this girl talk and be a part of it, do not let society scare you from being a part of it. Comment down below. Let's have a conversation. It's our bodies. We have them. Let's talk about them. But with that being said, I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.